Stop telling people your goals. That rush of pride when you describe the business you'll launch or the marathon you'll run isn't harmless. Your brain rewards the announcement as if the work is already done. That hit of social validation satisfies the same neural circuitry that real progress would, quietly draining the motivation you need to begin. The cost is hidden in your own biology. I'm not describing some abstract phenomenon. I'm describing what you did last Tuesday. You shared a big goal with friends, felt that spark of relief, even a little pride. And then, silence, no follow-through. That moment of announcement was the trap. It gave you the reward before the work, and your brain quietly closed the file. But why does your brain do that? That's what we'll unpack. You tell your closest friends you're going to run a marathon. The room erupts, they cheer, they hug you, they tell you how amazing you are. In that wave of affirmation, your brain releases a flood of dopamine. It feels indistinguishable from actual achievement. You've already tasted the triumph. The reward system doesn't know you haven't trained a day. Quietly, the drive to do the hard work evaporates. When you're 6 a.m., alarm pulls you from sleep, the contract you made with yourself last night has already expired. You already tasted the reward of being the kind of person who runs, just by deciding to. So the actual run feels unnecessary. You hit snooze, and again, a month slips by. Your running shoes collect dust. That morning didn't skip a run, it rewired who you think you are. Once you tell your circle you're training, their view of you locks in. You're the committed one. You borrow that identity internally, feeling the part without lacing up. In your mind, you're the person who trains, pavement untouched. That borrowed status becomes a trapdoor, letting you fall through without a single step. And it doesn't stop there. The advice arrives wrapped in certainty. Tell someone your plan and you'll feel bound to follow through. But that assumption has a hidden flaw. Research reveals that voicing a goal can create a premature sense of completion, a social reality that tricks your brain into relaxing before any real effort begins. That changes everything about how you'll approach your next ambition. In a now classic study by psychologist Peter Gollwitzer, law students who openly shared their career ambitions ended up studying significantly less. They told researchers that simply announcing their goal made them feel it was already within reach. That premature sense of completion quietly drained their motivation. The numbers don't lie. Public declaration backfired. And this pattern shows up far beyond the lab. Tell someone your goal, and your brain accepts the praise before any real effort is made. The data is stark. People who kept intentions private were up to 33% more likely to succeed. Announcing creates a premature sense of completion. Your mind logs the deed as done while you're still on the couch. That's why the quiet ones cross the finish line more often. So what actually drives progress forward? Here's the neurological sleight of hand at play. When you announce a goal and receive social approval, your brain releases dopamine, the exact same reward chemical it produces upon genuine achievement. Your brain cannot tell the difference. You get the neurochemical payoff without the effort. That's the dopamine trap. Silent sabotage wired into your reward system. Psychologists call this social reality. When you share a goal and your group nods, your brain treats that acknowledgement as real progress. It barely distinguishes a private intention from one your tribe has accepted. The motivation engine, convinced the work is done, powers down. And that quiet stall is where the real hijack begins. Your brain runs a reward prediction system that constantly forecasts future payoffs. When you share a goal and receive immediate social approval, that forecast gets checked off early. The mismatch between expected and received reward collapses into a satisfied signal, so your motivation to do the actual work plummets. As far as your dopamine is concerned, the victory already happened. But that shortcut has a hidden cost. That spike of dopamine doesn't just shift your attention. It actively suppresses the anterior cingulate cortex and prefrontal regions. These are the circuits that fuel sustained effort and long-term planning. You're now starved of the neurochemical signals needed to move forward. Your drive doesn't fade. The neurological lights simply go out. And without that internal ignition, be brutally honest. What's the last big goal you told someone about? Did you take the first real step, or did the telling become the doing in your mind? That gap between announcing and acting is where potential quietly fades. We're about to explore how sharing can trick your brain into feeling you've already arrived. That little rush of validation reshapes your behavior faster than you realize. Each time you feel stuck or uncertain, announcing a new goal gives you the same quick dopamine hit. Soon, the announcement itself becomes the reward. You slide into a pattern of promise-making instead of promise-keeping, a performer of potential, collecting applause for things you haven't done. That borrowed pride never converts into progress. Your brain doesn't just imagine a future self, it begins to treat that version as already present. You feel like a writer, an athlete, an entrepreneur, without a single page, mile, or sale to show. This gap between identity and action is where self-sabotage breeds, and it comes with a quiet, compounding price. Keep a goal secret and you remove the easy dopamine hit of social approval. Your brain must work for its reward. Only action delivers. It tirelessly closes the gap between intention and achievement. Silence becomes a quiet engine, not deprivation. Research proves follow-through rises. This hidden dynamic points to something even more fundamental about motivation. Your brain's reward system is more malleable than you realize. You can deliberately retrain it by letting silence become a new kind of fuel. Every time you resist the urge to share a plan, you strengthen the neural pathways that tie satisfaction to effort itself, not its announcement. Slowly, you reclaim your neurochemistry from the social validation trap, tapping a motivation that no longer needs applause. Some seeds need total darkness to germinate. Your deepest ambitions work the same way. Guard them like a secret garden no one else sees. Water them in private, letting effort deepen without the parasite of early praise. When roots have anchored firmly below the soil, the bloom will be ready to meet the light. You might wonder if an accountability partner is the fix for this. But too often they become an audience, granting the same social reward prematurely, a dopamine hit for zero output. Unless it's a strictly non-praising, action-only check-in, you're still collecting the salary for a job you haven't started. The loophole is tighter than you think. Sharing your intentions before you act hijacks your motivation by giving you a reward you haven't earned. Reverse the timeline. Tell someone, I just ran 5 miles, only after your feet stop moving. That way, dopamine marks completed effort instead of empty promise, quietly rewiring your brain to love the doing more than the announcing. Soon you'll find yourself chasing the high of genuine accomplishment. Daydreaming about a goal feels rewarding, but that buzz can lull you into inaction. Mental contrasting breaks the spell. You deliberately pit your desired future against the most critical inner obstacle. This vivid clash deflates false satisfaction and reroutes the energy into concrete planning. Fantasy fuels action instead of complacency. That's the core of Whoop. The moment you stop sharing, a hollow space opens up. That emptiness is withdrawal from social validation. Don't fill it with another quick hit. Resist the urge to reach for your phone. Sit in the silence. That ache is the feeling of real work beginning, and it's the first honest thing you've felt in a long time. Broadcasting your intentions before you start often acts as a shield against true failure. If the world knows your plan, you can hide in the announcement and never fully commit. Silence removes that hiding place. In the quiet, you must face your own potential and the terrifying possibility that you might actually succeed if you try. The most durable changes in you are forged without witnesses, no applause during late-night doubt or early morning recommitment. That's where your grit tempers, unbreakable and utterly untweetable. This hidden fire becomes the architecture of who you are, an identity no one can strip away. And from that still burning nexus, a quiet power unfolds. That flash of pride you want to broadcast immediately? It's your brain hunting for a dopamine shortcut, a quick hit of validation. Intercept that impulse. Ask, am I seeking action or approval? Then say, not yet. Earn it. This tiny pause doesn't just delay gratification, it rewires your circuitry, and that changes what comes next. When aspiring artists kept painting secret until completion, they produced objectively better work. Telling someone a goal tricks your brain into feeling it's done, draining the drive to perfect it. Secrecy protects your internal standard from that premature sense of completion. It lets you refine deeper, for longer. Silence is where the real work gets done. Pick the one goal that quietly pulls at you. Then enter a 30-day vow of silence around it. No hints, no updates. Let private progress be your only reward. This pause starves the brain's social validation loop and lets intrinsic motivation rekindle. Soon, you'll feel a quiet momentum that doesn't depend on anyone else noticing. A fitness app just broadcast first run to your feed without your real consent. That automatic share hands you a hollow reward, fooling your brain into a premature sense of completion. Turn off all auto-posting. Defend your neural pathways. Accept only the dopamine that comes from your own felt exertion. The next step is even quieter. Each time you choose not to share a win, the false reward pathway weakens. Over a few weeks, your brain begins to link real satisfaction to the effort itself. Neuroplasticity ensures you can change. You weren't born with this trap, so you can undo it. Every silent decision strengthens the circuits that reward genuine accomplishment. Declaring who you're becoming feels like progress, but you're borrowing the glow without paying the price of the forge. Silence takes that shortcut away. In quiet, you meet your actual self, not the aspirational mask. That confrontation is brutal, and it's the birthplace of real change. Stay long enough and it reshapes you. Late at night, with no one to impress, effort becomes a private dialogue. No applause, no witness, just an honest exchange of energy and attention. In that solitude, you stop chasing approval and fall in love with the process. The work itself turns into a quiet, unshakable sustenance, and that intimacy reshapes your motivation from the inside out. Real achievement arrives quietly. The dopamine from genuine mastery doesn't scream, it hums. A calm, deep satisfaction settles in, building a fortress inside you. This isn't a borrowed high from applause, it's lasting self-sufficiency. That quiet, earned resonance is the reward worth chasing. And once you learn to trust its steady hum, your whole motivation reorients. Strip away every audience. Remove the applause, the shares, the nods of approval. Now ask yourself, if your dream existed in a vacuum, witnessed by no one, would you still choose it each morning? That answer reveals if the goal is yours or a borrowed script. The discomfort is the point. Let that sink in. Your brain is wired to conserve energy by treating acknowledgement as achievement. Each time you share an unfinished goal, you hand your drive an exit ramp. Nurture your vision in silence. Let it grow roots before it sees light. A flame shielded from applause becomes a wildfire. This is how discipline without an audience becomes strength. There is a version of you already walking among us, utterly silent yet completely unstoppable. You surprise everyone with results, not because you hid, but because you carefully guarded your internal ecology. This is a quiet revolution where the only approval you seek comes from your own honest reflection at the end of the day. And from that place, everything shifts. Before we part, let this settle. What is the one aim you would shield from every glance, letting it root in silence without encouragement? Public declarations often satisfy the brain's reward craving before the real work, stealing drive. The quiet choice to grow something unseen, uncheered, shifts everything. Success doesn't come with a shout. It belongs to the one who never needed to make a sound.